saying? You ain't hurting them, you're hurting the whole family. And see, a lot of time, and I'm not talking about, hey, we're going to send this tape somewhere. A lot of time we think that when we're hurting one person, you're not just hurting them, and you're sitting there, you're hurting that whole family. And he said, don't rejoice in iniquity. Don't get happy when you see others are hurting. Or don't get happy when you see somebody doing something to hurt somebody. It said, love does not rejoice in iniquity. Looking at sin and it don't bother you, that's not good. Amen. And then it goes to, but rejoicing in the truth. Love was right. Amen. In verse 7, it says, beareth all things. Love knows how to put up with some stuff. Amen. Love knows how to put up with some stuff. And one of the things I tell anybody, a mother's love is a special love, because you know, sometimes people saying, this child doing that, how that mama do that, that's a special love. Amen. To me, I know God can give the love of God to men, but when you watch a woman, how they love their children, even after they tripping, that's symbolic to me of the love of God, because as we look at them, I say, how? It'll cuss them out, it'll do this, it'll do it. Love, put up with some stuff. I'm not saying that they say do it, but love is looking for a change. Amen. Next week when we come, I'm going to teach with some dark boys on, because I want to see your faces. Amen. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh.
I thought you said you had a question to something. When you said about complaining on somebody else taking food out of their mouth, you can't look at it that way, because you know, I work in a nursing home.
Yes.
Okay, the girl who works the night shift, she ain't doing her job, and she's causing wounds on the patient. So I mean, it's every day when I go in, I see that. And I told her that I told today, because there's nobody to speak for that lady.
And that's not wrong.
Breaking down. And I don't know if I try to talk to her, she'll start arguing. I'm not going to argue with you. So I went to the administrator on her, but she's going to get in trouble for it.
That's not what you're doing. Another thing here, love protects. And what you're doing, you're functioning in the love of God, because you're not, it's not that you're telling on her, you're protecting somebody else. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that you're rejoicing or happy about what you're doing. You're standing in the gap. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, just don't need no illustration. What you went through is right. I mean, there's no other God way to handle that. You see somebody mistreating somebody, you see somebody, it's not like you just running to tell. You're doing what is right. You're standing in the gap. You got a job to do. You're standing in the gap. You see this old person get mistreated. They can't fend for themselves. So what you do, you walk in wisdom, and you say, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to talk to the administrator for the administrator to handle it. And because you follow order, the administrator knows how to handle them, because they would want you to share that with them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't let the enemy make you feel bad for that. That's good. That's good, because I don't believe God sent us on these jobs to just watch how people do it. I'm going to give you an example of, and I don't work at Publix no more. I was in the warehouse, and I had I'm not being biased toward ladies right now, I'm going to share something with you. Ladies in Publix warehouse, they used to have a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff. And what they would do, the ones that were supervisors, when they find out one don't like it, they'll have power trips. And they'll misuse their authority to get back at them. And so I seen two of them yelling at each other on the line. And so the one that was a supervisor, she didn't know I seen it, and she respected me as a man of God. And she was going to write the lady off, not because of what she done, but because she didn't like her, and she didn't like her talk. And see, both of them were in the flesh. And so I didn't say nothing to nobody. And so the lady went in there, the lady went in the office booth, and so I picked up and called her extension, and she picked up, said her name. I said, do what's right. And I just hung up the phone. About 3 minutes later, she said, preacher. She said, preacher, I was so hot in here, I couldn't look right up the thing. It's not that whatever happened was wrong, but the way you finna deal with it, you finna deal with it in your feelings. Somebody needs somebody to fend for them. You know, she was over me also. But I knew when they went in the office, because she in the supervisor position, that she was going to be backed up for wrong, and they didn't see the wrong. So I said, I just picked up and said, do what's right. And I just hung the phone in. And that's all you did today. All you did was went and said, they ain't doing it. And I believe God honors that. I believe, don't feel bad about that, sister. You did a great job. Somebody else had a question? Amen. And so we go to First Corinthians, and then it says, it believeth all things, it hopeth all things, and it endures all things. Have you ever felt like you was up under pressure? Love sometimes feels like I'm going through too much. But it said love endures. And Paul said, endure hardness as a good soldier. Amen. And then it goes and it says, love what? In verse 8. That's all. I just want you to see that. In any situation or circumstance that you're dealing with, we need to know that love what? Never fails. If you have your Bible, turn to Romans chapter 13, verse 8 and 10. Amen. Right now, you know, I believe through the week you can get some more love. And one of our first scriptures that we learned as kids was what? For God so what? That he gave his only begotten son. And see, love is giving. Love is always giving. Love is always giving up itself. And that was a painful love that he expressed. Amen. Romans chapter 13, verse 8. Anybody read?
Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
Did you hear that? Paul is telling those that wrong. He said, don't owe nobody nothing but to love. It's my God-given duty for me to love you. And not only just feel like I want to love you, but I owe it to you to love you. That's strong language. You know how we owe the car people. We owe this person. And we try to pay them, right? Amen. We try to. Sometimes we get a little slow on it. But God say, owe no man nothing but to love. Verse 10, sister.
Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
Do y'all hear that? The reason he's writing right here, because some people say and talking about, thou should not commit adultery, thou should not do this, thou should not do that. And what Paul said, if you walk in love, you don't have to worry about none of the rest of that stuff. You nip it all in the bud, because if I love you, I'm not going to try to lay with it. Amen. Love don't work no ill to the neighbor. So if I try to do wrong, that's working ill to you. I ain't mean the illustration, but y'all understand, right? And if I love you, I'm not going to do nothing to hurt you. It say love working no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling. It say fulfill, but fulfilling of the law. Amen. You want to say something? You sure? Don't hold it. Don't hold it. We ain't got nothing about it. 31 minutes. Okay. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 17 and 19. So we're trying to get this good food, right? Amen. We're trying to get this food, people to take some good food off of us. Amen. Y'all know they got all kind of trees. And this is what I learned, Brother PQ. I didn't know this. A guy told me one time, he was giving me a green orange. You know oranges are green first, right? And he said, man, these so sweet. And I looked at it, he said, you look for them painted oranges. And I didn't know that they paint those oranges all pretty before they send them in the store. And what he was telling me, don't misjudge this fruit because of what it looked like on the outside. it still got something good on the inside. And see, once we have the Spirit of God on the outside, even though we don't look like it, we ought to leave people with a sweet taste. Amen. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 17. Anybody, please.
That Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye being rooted and grounded in love.
Do you see that? This whole wall. And Paul was praying for the church at Ephesus. He said, I'm praying that you be rooted and grounded in love. That your whole makeup, your whole build-up, everything you do be based on love. Amen. Verse 19. Just verse 19 now.
And
Let's read the first three words.
And to know the love of Christ, which passes knowledge, that ye might be filled with all the fullness of God.
And so first he says, I want you to be rooted and grounded in love. And then he says that I want you to know. And the word know in the Bible means intimacy. I want you to have a relationship with the love of God. He said, and to know the love of Christ. The only way I'm going to get to learn the love of Christ is through learning him through this book. You can't just say, I love you, and think you love somebody. Or that I love you like God kind of love. There's a distinct difference between the way I love Sylvia and the way I need to love God's people. I love her because she's my wife. And men don't like to say this. And I share it. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of us didn't have nobody in our life to tell us I love as a male. So we think it's feminine. But once God gives me a heart of faith, I'm not scared to tell your brother I love him. And ain't nothing shake about it. You know some brothers you tell them I love him. No, he ain't experienced love God yet. Because it ain't funny. But you're not scared to share that I have experienced the love of God. You know what I'm saying? We straight. Love you, brother. I send him in the text. I tell him over the phone. But there's some men that think they're so macho that they can't say it. And guess what? I wasn't told that by mail. That got to come from God in your heart of God showing you how to love. And it takes a while for you to begin to say it. I'm going to share this. Once you go through a breaking process by the Lord, it's easy for you to love. I'm telling you, because once I got out of prison, I wasn't walking around before that. It wasn't none of a few jokers that I tell I love. Roy, Aaron, a few right there, you know, with church and stuff. But I met guys, and even like other preachers, that when you say it, they were so protective that over a period of time, they'll see me saying so much, I see them echo it out their mouth now. Sometimes it's just walls that got to be broke down. Because some people don't think that I need to and everybody's not as expressive in their feelings, so if it takes some time, it takes some time. But I'm just giving you my testimony that it's no problem for me to say that I love you. Amen. And then he said right here, Ephesians 3, verse 17 and 19. I'm going to read those verses again. He said that Christ may dwell in your heart. He said, dwell. By faith, and that you being rooted. I'm talking about your roots. And the way you're grounded is grounded in love. Not in knowledge, but in love. There's some wise people. Y'all know that? Very wise, but that don't mean they have a good love walk. Amen. Paul even said that. Just go back and read that chapter, 1 Corinthians 13. He said that you may understand mysteries, but you don't have no love. And then it says in verse 19, and to know the love of Christ which passeth. Y'all see that TH, that means continually going past knowledge. That you might be filled with all the fullness of God. I believe it's all right to laugh. So in this next verse, I believe y'all will laugh. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 1 and 2. And Sister Rhonda, Sister Anna, we're dealing with the fruits of the Spirit, talking about the love of God. Amen. That unconditional, unchangeable, unmerited love.